Good morning, everyone, or I guess it could even be the afternoon for you at this point in time. I'm going to go ahead and do a first chapter preview today. You will see that I've already added this up to our first chapter preview poster, and we'll start taking requests for this book when I get back tomorrow. I have several copies of it in my possession, so if it's something that interests you, I can definitely get that in your hands. So today's first chapter preview is Warriors Into the Wild. And I have a couple things that I wanted to show you kind of as we're going through this today. So as we get started here, I just want to read to you. This was at the very, very beginning of the book. It's just a little blurb that they've taken out of somewhere else in the book, but they've chosen to use it as kind of an introduction to the book overall. So I'll read this for you really quick, and then we'll look into the other aspects of what happens in the beginning of this book. But kitty pets can't be warriors, Gray Paw blurted out. They don't have warrior blood. Warrior blood, Blue Star echoed with a sigh. Too much of that has been spilled lately. She fell silent, and Lionheart meowed. Blue Star is only offering you training, young kit. There is no guarantee you would become a full warrior. Understand that she does not make this offer lightly. If you wish to train with us, we will have to take you into our clan. You must either live with us and respect our ways, or return to your two-leg place and never come back. You cannot live with a paw in each world. After that page in the book, it goes into a list of all of the books that this author has written. Her name is Erin Hunter, that have to do with the warriors. And you can see we've got The Prophecy Begins. That's where book 1, Into the Wild, starts. So this is the very first warrior book. And then you also have then lots of little sets that go on forward from there, having to do with the same cats and clans and things like that. If we go to this page, we see that there's also a couple of novellas, which are teeny little like books, small novels. And then the Seekers and the Survivors are different animals. And if I remember right, one might be like a polar bear or just bears. I can't remember. But they're just different animals that kind of have the same types of stories that these warrior stories are. Moving farther into the book, they then give you a list of all of the main characters and the clans. So you can see here that we start out with Thunder Clan, okay? And they've got a leader named Blue Star and a deputy named Red Tail with an apprentice called Dustpaw. We've got lots of, there's the medicine cat there, and then the warriors. And they say that these have to be toms or boy cats and or she cats that have never had kits before. Then you've got these apprentices. These are the ones who want to become warriors one day. The queens are the ones who are going to be giving us all the kits, the baby cats. And then the elders are past warriors or queens that have now retired from their position in the clan. And the clan takes care of them until they're passing. You can see, though, that we have the same roles then for Shadow Clan as well, and Wind Clan, and River Clan. And then there are also some cats that fall outside of the clans that we might have to know about. I love these pages because these are actually little maps of kind of all the places that they talk about all the time. You can see how there's a River Clan right there. You've got the Thunder Clans in there. The Thunder Path is up here. They talk about that a lot. The Great Sycamore. Four Trees. They meet there a lot of times. There's Wind Clan over there. So lots of different things to see there. You can see specifically their little key to the clans over here, knowing what everybody is. And then there's another map that goes into the two-legged view. So this is where kind of our whole story starts, and some of the place that two-legged people live with their kitty pets. And then you can see like the different types of land, the woodland, the marsh, the hiking trails, things like that. And now I will read you the prologue. A half moon glowed on smooth granite boulders, turning them silver. The silence was broken only by the ripple of water from the swift black river and the whisper of trees in the forest beyond. There was a stirring in the shadows, and from all around lithe dark shapes crept stealthily over the rocks. Unsheathed claws glinted in the moonlight. Wary eyes flashed like amber. And then, as if on a silent signal, the creatures leapt at each other, and suddenly the rocks were alive with wrestling, screeching cats. At the center of the frenzy of fur and claws, a massive dark tabby pinned a bracken-colored Tom to the ground and drew up his head triumphantly. "Oakhart," the tabby growled, "how dare you hunt in our territory? The Sunning Rocks belong to ThunderClan. After tonight, Tiger Claw, this will be just another RiverClan hunting ground," the bracken-colored Tom spat back. A warning yowl came from the shore, shrill and anxious. "Look out! More RiverClan warriors are coming!" Tiger Claw turned to see sleek, wet bodies sliding out of the water below the rocks. The drenched RiverClan warriors bounded silently up the shore and hurled themselves into battle without even stopping to shake the water from their fur. The dark tabby glared down at Oakhart. "You may swim like otters, but you and your warriors do not belong in this forest." He drew back his lips and showed his teeth as the cat struggled beneath him. The desperate scream of a ThunderClan she-cat rose above the clamor. A wiry RiverClan Tom had pinned the brown warrior flat on her belly. Now he lunged toward her neck with jaws still dripping from the swim across the river. Tiger Claw heard the cry and let go of Oakhart. With a mighty leap, he knocked the enemy warrior away from the she-cat. "Quick, Mousefur, run!" he ordered before turning on the RiverClan Tom, who had threatened her. Mousefur scrambled to her paws, wincing from a deep gash on her shoulder, and raced away. Behind her, Tiger Claw spat with rage as the RiverClan Tom sliced open his nose. Blood blinded him for an instant, but he lunged forward regardless and sank his teeth into the hind leg of his enemy. The RiverClan cat squealed and struggled free. "Tiger Claw!" The yowl came from a warrior with a tail as red as fox fur. "This is useless. There are too many RiverClan warriors." "No, Redtail. ThunderClan will never be beaten," Tiger Claw yowled back, leaping to Redtail's side. "This is our territory." Blood was welling around his broad black muzzle, and he shook his head impatiently, scattering scarlet drops onto the rocks. "ThunderClan will honor your courage, Tiger Claw, but we cannot afford to lose any more of our warriors," Redtail urged. "Blue Star would never expect her warriors to fight against these impossible odds. We will have another chance to avenge this defeat." He met Tiger Claw's amber-eyed gaze steadily, then reared away and sprang onto a boulder at the edge of the trees. "Retreat, ThunderClan! Retreat!" he yowled. At once, his warriors squirmed and struggled away from their opponents. Spitting and snarling, they backed toward Redtail. For a heartbeat, the RiverClan cats looked confused. Was this battle so easily won? Then Oakhart yowled a jubilant cry. As soon as they heard him, the RiverClan warriors raised their voices and joined their deputy in caterwauling their victory. Redtail looked down at his warriors. With a flick of his tail, he gave the signal, and the ThunderClan cats dived down the far side of the Sunning Rocks, then disappeared into the trees. Tiger Claw followed last. He hesitated at the edge of the forest and glanced back at the blood-stained battlefield. His face was grim, his eyes furious slits. Then he leapt after his clan into the silent forest. In a deserted clearing, an old gray she-cat sat alone, staring up at the clear night sky. All around her, in the shadows, she could hear the breathing and stirrings of sleeping cats. A small tortoiseshell she-cat emerged from a dark corner, her paw steps quick and soundless. The gray cat dipped her head in greeting. "How is Mousefur?" she meowed. "Her wounds are deep, Blue Star," answered the tortoiseshell, settling herself on the night-cool grass. "But she is young and strong. She will heal quickly." "And the others?" "They will also recover, too." Blue Star sighed. "We are lucky not to have lost any of our warriors this time. You are a gifted medicine cat, Spotted Leaf." She tilted her head again and studied the stars. "I am deeply troubled by tonight's defeat. ThunderClan has not been beaten in its own territory since I became leader," she muttered. "These are difficult times for our clan. The season of New Leaf is late, and there have been fewer kits. ThunderClan needs more warriors if it is to survive." "But the year is only just beginning," Spotted Leaf pointed out calmly. "There will be more kits when Greenleaf comes." The gray cat twitched her broad shoulders. "Perhaps, but training our young to become warriors takes time. If ThunderClan is to defend its territory, it must have new warriors as soon as possible." "Are you asking StarClan for answers?" meowed Spotted Leaf gently, following Blue Star's gaze and staring up at the swath of stars glittering in the dark sky. "It is at times like this we need the words of ancient warriors to help us." "Has StarClan spoken to you?" Blue Star asked. "Not for some moons, Blue Star." Suddenly, a shooting star blazed over the treetops. Spotted Leaf's tail twitched and the fur along her spine bristled. Blue Star's ears pricked, but she remained silent as Spotted Leaf continued to gaze upward. After a few moments, Spotted Leaf lowered her head and turned to Blue Star. "It was a message from StarClan," she murmured. A distant look came into her eyes. "Fire alone can save our clan." "Fire?" Blue Star echoed. "But fire is feared by all the clans. How can it save us?" Spotted Leaf shook her head. "I do not know," she admitted, "but this is the message StarClan has chosen to share with me." The ThunderClan leader fixed her clear blue eyes on the medicine cat. "You have never been wrong before, Spotted Leaf," she meowed. "If StarClan has spoken, then it must be so. Fire will save our clan."